Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another beautiful setup video. Right here we are going over E-Trade Pro. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. And for relevancy within the video, take a look at the setup here. Take a look at the setup. This is how it looks from my side, right? This is how things look from my side here. Let's pull up Thinkorswim just so you guys get a better look. There we go. So this is exactly how things look from my side. This is what I'm seeing at all times. Level 2 daily chart on this side here. And then Thinkorswim in the middle. Going on my right hand side, well, I guess my left, meaning I'm faced this way. The Discord and YouTube stream. So in the video, pay attention to the screen by screen play that we're gonna talk about, and how I utilize each particular monitor throughout the trading day, right? So we got the left hand side, which is level 2 daily chart, that kind of a thing. Middle for Thinkorswim charting and executions, and then we have the Discord and YouTube. So with that being said, enjoy the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ultimate relentless guide tutorial for E-Trade Pro. So here we are. I'm on a blank screen. We're going to be talking about my layout, my setup, what I use to help optimize E-Trade Pro. What we'll do, this series might be different parts, right? Let's say this might be part 1, and we'll have concentrated videos for certain tools such as level 2 time and sales, that kind of a thing. So that once you guys and other people who might want to look up particular components, they can just search it in, type it up, and get the responses. But this will be an overall video here today. So E-Trade will come with built-in screens, right? So if I click back right here, bottom left hand corner, you'll see I have primary scanners and so forth. Each screen allows you to have a different layout and style. You can have one for charting, one for scanners, watch list, that kind of a thing. And there's a bunch of them, right? There's, what's that, 6 in total? 6. So if you only have one external monitor, one monitor, you can have different screens, which will help you out with trading, right? So let's go back here. So top left hand corner, tools, is where you'll be able to find everything. The tools section, there's quotes, tickers, and trade. And so if we click on quotes, right, you'll see that this top column right here kind of drops down, which will show for the stock that's selected, the open, the high, the low, and that kind of thing. And what you can change, right, these columns up here, you can add and subtract different bars to, right? So if I hit the quotes button that's highlighted blue, it'll take that off. And for ticker, if you see this running list of stocks that are up and down in the market, if I hit ticker, that'll also be removed. So once again, quick look, that'll be ticker and quotes. So right hand side, we have your account, purchasing power. You can hide the details if you want to, if you don't want anyone to see your buying power. For me, I don't really care, so I leave it up, right? It doesn't matter. I don't use my E-Trade Pro like that. Besides for what the level 2 and scans, I don't mind if anyone sees the purchasing power. So you can remove and hide and unhide that, right? So right hand side, we have some symbols and indices, right? And you can change this, right? If you want to pull up, let's say Facebook, Tesla, Apple, if you want to change these stocks up here to individual stocks or different ETXs, that kind of a thing, you can. And so this gear icon will help you do that. So display will of course color code when it comes to green, red, to let you know up or down. So what we're going to be focusing on, of course, for the charts is going to be the tools column, left hand side right here, tools. We're gonna go and get our chart first things first, and there's 2 types of charts. There's the classic charts, which is the blue one. You'll see guys like Tim Sykes using this. I don't like these charts per se. I feel like They're a little bit more clunky, less maneuverable, right? You can of course bring down the volume bar, but I prefer the newer charting, right? And so if we go back to tools, here we go, right? Right below the classic charts, we have the updated charts, and for me, I prefer this one because uh, it's much more maneuverable. I can grab right here with the mouse and just throw it to the side, and throw it back, and I can zoom in pretty easily, zoom out. I feel like it's a little bit easier, more maneuverable, but some people do prefer the other ones, the classic charts where we have that blue background. So let's pull up LGVN. That's kind of the hot stock today, right? Look at this thing, from $8 all the way to 33. Crazy momentum. But not to get sidetracked, let's talk about our chart, right? So first things first, you'll see the candles is hollow, right? We have some hollow candlesticks. To change that, you want to come up here to your, where we have these couple of icons letting you know, for studies, hollow candles, draw right here, daily, where you can change the criteria for the charting. Just for looks, we'll start there. Let's do regular candle, right? There's different ones, right? Colored bar, Heikinashi, right? Line, so there's a lot of different things to choose from when it comes to the look of it, right? Time frame, right? Time frame. I want to start off with a daily chart, right? When we are already on daily, right? 1 year, right? So we can do every day for 1 year, every day for 3 years, every day for 5 years. But this will go back to the stock's history when it comes to IPO, depending on how far you go back. If you do custom and you want to change for every day 10 years ago, as this thing is now at $37, geez Louise, you can. So we'll do regular candles for now, right? Let's customize the color right down here, by the way. Let's go to the pencil icon right here on the bottom left. That arrow, of course, will push up the volume bar, as you just saw right there, right? That arrow will push up the volume bar. So let's pull that back down. Pretty interesting, pretty interesting. So here we go. Let's click that pencil icon and get a better looking color here for our green. Let's see. We can do dark green. We can do dark green. We can work with that for now. Red. We can do a darker red. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be changing much for the red. Down volume. Well, we're not seeing. Now that I think about it, we don't have any significant volume on these other candles. So we'll just keep that as dark red and hit done. What we can do quickly just to show, right? We can go and change the time frame from today to 1 minute, and we'll see that dark red on the bottom volume bar there. So that's not a bad look, right? Some of you might want it a little bit lighter. But this is just gonna give this video is gonna give a good overall detailed look into E-Trade and some of its key components, right? We'll talk about a lot of different things here today. So once again, for that color, we come back here. We'll see. Let's hit a lighter red. Let's see how it looks. Not bad, not bad. See, but they don't have the color spectrum to where you can get the exact color you might want. That's one of the bad things. But not bad. We'll keep it like that for now. Once again, I'll go back to today and 1 year, right? So this will be my daily chart. This will let me know the stock's performance every day dating back to a year. So let's put this up here in the right hand corner. So this is going to be my daily chart. Not bad, not bad. So moving on to the next component. Right, the next component here on my very first screen, right? We'll move on to the level 2. So if you come down to the tool section, we can look through. There's time and sales, right, and market depth. So level 2 is market depth, right? Market depth. Let's pull this over. Let's pull this up. Let's put it about here and enlarge it going across. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's see. Let's pull it up a little bit more. By the way, one thing to mention right away is links, right? So on the right hand side of every tool, you'll see this link button. This will help you to connect all the different tools. And so if I put all of these on link 2, let's say, right, link 2, if I type in one stock, right, let's say I type in Facebook, Facebook will pull up on the level 2 as well as the charting, right? So let's pull up LGVN. It'll pull up on both the charting and level 2. So you want to make sure everything is linked and linked properly, right? So right now we're building my left hand side of the screen, my left monitor. This is exactly what I see at all times, right? So my level 2, let's right click, right anywhere on the level 2, you can right click and go to settings. And once you right click over most tools, you'll have options to buy, sell, cover. You know, you'll have all these other options when it comes to opening positions, exiting positions, theme. There's also a light and dark theme for some of the chartings and that kind of a thing, right? Light theme, we'll put it white, which I completely hate. So let's go back to dark. And there's custom, you probably can get a different color. You know, whatever is visually appealing for you as the trader, that's what you want to get into, right? So let's go to display on the level 2. You can change, once again, even the what's it called, the font. You can change the fonts, right? You can change the fonts. If you don't like how the writing looks, you can change all of that, which is pretty good. So now each level 2 comes with its own column, right? There's a section here that says news, last trade, percentage change versus yesterday's close, high, low, total volume, and exchange, right? So exchange right here, for me, I don't necessarily like or want on my chart. So I can hit exchange of last trade and remove that. And once I hit OK, you'll see it gets updated. This part of the level 2 will go away. And so you can mix and match, right? You can mix and match whatever you like. If you want to see, you know, the UPC, you know, trade time, trade size, there's a bunch of different things that you can add, and you can move it up and down the list right here to see, you know, however order you want it. So trade size, I can drag to the bottom. I can select it if I'm not mistaken. Okay, there we go. Select it and use the arrows right here. You can put it to the back of the line, right, and it'll pull up right down here again. So you can see the last amount of shares that have just gotten traded. There's a bunch of different things you can do with that. So settings, let's see, display, consolidate ECN quotes at the same price level. There's a bunch of different things you guys can look into. Alignment, right? Display. Even I am not familiar with every single thing, right? But you definitely do want to do your own due diligence in some of the areas that you might want to look into a little bit more, all right? There's also, which is worth mentioning, an order entry window that's attached to each level 2. So if you click right here, you can take trades, especially if things are linked differently, right? There's all of this good stuff and a cancel button that comes along with the level 2. So settings, let's see what else is in here that I might want to mention. Level 2, custom view, fixed view, broker alert, display, theme, standard. There's a bunch of different things you can play around with to get a different look once again, right? When it comes to color, fonts, all of that good stuff. There is a way to remove these momentum bars. I can't quite remember, and I might be looking at it and not even be realizing. But there is a way to remove these momentum bars that I can't remember exactly how to do right now in this moment. So for now, let's move on. So next, we'll come back to the level 2 just now. But let's move on to the next setup, the next tool, which will be the time and sales. The time and sales. So the time and sales, we can pull it in right here. Let's pull it down a little bit. Or let's pull up the level 2 a little bit, actually. Let's pull it up a little bit. And you know, for me, I got a bit of you know, OCD, so I do need everything to align and look clean, right? The thing is with the charting too, well, the screens, I should say. The thing is with the screens at E-Trade is that if you pull something down, right? If I enlarge this charting and stretch it down, the screen itself will adjust. And so let's say I move this down right here, the screen will adjust so I can scroll down to get to the end of my at the end of my tool, right? So let's enlarge this right here, just make it longer. We can drag this down, and now I can scroll all the way down and have more room. You know, so you can have a bunch of different things is the idea on one screen, but you'll have to scroll up and down, of course. All right. So it helps if you have one monitor. You can consider all of that to help, you know, when it comes to space and how you want to space things out. So once again, this video, you know, is going to be the ultimate guide for anyone who is looking forward to using E-Trade, scalping, that kind of a thing. We will have individual videos going over certain tools a little bit more specifically. So there's the time and sales. I have a positions window here next, right? Positions, an individual brokerage window. Let's see, order entry, not quite, order status, accounts. Is it accounts? Yes, so accounts. So you want to come here, you select accounts, right? The very first tab under accounts and trading. This window I usually pull and I'll have available on my left hand side, and we'll talk as to why everything makes sense, right? And so for me, how my setup is positioned, I have two monitors, and the way how I designed it is so that once I'm in trades, I can see everything all at once without having to scroll down or you know, move the chartings too much, that kind of a thing. Because the way how I trade, I focus up on one stock at a time, and you know, sometimes I'll even have tunnel vision on that one stock until things do change a little bit. So can we get this here in place? Let's pull it over slightly. Hold up. Sometimes it'll stretch, so you want to make it a little smaller towards the edges to not have the screen come down. So there we go. How far can we go over without, and we'll bring this in a little bit. All right, there we go. Pull that over. Once again, symmetry is pretty big for me. So there we go. We can drop this down a little bit more. There we go. So perfect. So we have a daily chart, right? And by the way, if we come back to the charting, you can select the cross here, so you can have this bit of a you know, this bit of a tool to help, you know, to help visualize better, right? It's top right hand side, highlighted blue. All right, crosshairs, so it's pretty good. So next I have high-low ticker. So if we go to tools, let's go to high-low ticker. And I have two of these. High-low ticker. Once again, we want to make sure everything is on the same link. So we can hit link 2. We can even hit link 2 for this, although I don't think it would really matter. Well, will it? Yeah, it will. And so this window here, we'll talk a little bit more in a about in a sec, right? The positions window. In fact, you know what? Why not do it right now? And so the positions window, you can see, is very similar to the level 2 in a sense when it comes to the tabs that it offers, right? So there's a symbol, there's news, there's type, quantity, bid, ask, all this kind of thing. So this will help you out if you're in a trade. You can see how many shares you took, you know, the type of trade, the type of order type, the order type that you used, whether market, limit, that kind of thing, trailing order. So if we come to columns, we can remove and add different things that we might want to see based off of our trade style, right? So some of you might want total cost, trade date, trade size. You know, it all depends, right? It all depends on the individual traders. P&L unrealized. For me, I have P&L unrealized, P&L today, market value, which will show you my cash balance, right? Cost basis, which is good if you are adding into trades. Cost basis is good to let you know where your average cost is. Change on the close I don't have, so you'll remove that. Last trade I don't need. I can see the last trade on the level 2 already. Bid in the ask price, there's no need to have that. That's already on my level 2, right? So quantity, which will be, I think for my share size, the amount of trades that for my cash, how many shares I can use, right? Depending on my share size, right? Quantity, there's type, order type I do have, and news I do have as well, and symbol. So this is how my positions window look, which is on the left hand monitor that I have. So at the beginning of this video, I'll make a bit of an intro so you guys can see my 3 monitors and how they're set up, and what we're building here, and why it's going to be the exact same at the end of the video, right? So moving on, once again, right? Well, not yet. Accounts, the positions window. We have positions, balances. So balance will show you a couple of things, right? Once again, it'll show you your value, your equity. Let's say equity. It'll show you your equity, and your equity in relation to certain securities, and availability, right? Cash availability. Some of us might have more cash accounts, right? So cash availability, that kind of a thing. It also, which is good for people who are below the PDT. It'll let you know how many day trades you have left. For me, I don't have any. I didn't take a trade in my E-Trade in my E-Trade account in a while, and so I have 3 day trades available before getting listed as the for the patent day trader rules. So I have 3 day trades every 5 business days, unless I have, of course, 25,000 in my account. So gainers and losers. Gainers and losers will show you executions for each trade that you took, transition history, and just for good fun, right? We can take 1 share of, well, it's the close. Well, it's the close. Okay, we'll hold off from that thought. Market closed. In my E-Trade account, I did not sign the agreement to trade pre-market after hours. So transition history, right? This will go back and show you all of your transitions over the last 30 days, 90 days. So this window here is pretty key when it comes to looking back over time to see certain trades, certain certain entries and exits, that kind of a thing. So the positions window for me is pretty big. So moving on to the high-low ticker settings, and so we have these different exchanges, right? We have the New York Stock Exchange, Amex, NASDAQ, OTCBB, and so for the high-low ticker, which is basically my high-day momentum scanner now, we can talk about the specific metrics that I use to help me get some decent scans. So I have 2 of these, right? This is the first set of criteria. So for everything in the volume column for all of our major indices, right? We want 500. See, this one, these 2 high-low tickers I have filter for volume in 2 different ways, and so we'll go with it. So right now, all symbols, right? All symbols is selected. Minimum volume, 100 shares, 500 shares, 500, and 10,000 for OTC. OTC we don't really care about, so we're not really scanning for OCT stocks, right? So let's cancel that. Let's go to settings, right? So we had 100. As to why I have 101 and 500 and the rest, I can't remember. We'll go with it for now, right? We're not going to question it too much, right? So minimum price, the lowest we can go, I believe, is $1. Can we do 50 cents? No, we cannot. So lowest price, $1, because for me, I like stocks between 50 cents and $20, right? So this is where you want to, of course, filter out. So between $1 and, for me, max price of, let's say, 20. And if we look at LGVN, it's at 34. So let's do $35, right? 35 bucks. 35. Let's take off the audio, by the way, so it doesn't mess up anyone's ears that are using earplugs. 35. So if you like stocks like Apple, Tesla, and you want to put this thing to 2,000, you definitely can, right? So 35, but I don't go over $35 really. So let's hit OK, and it'll filter out for that particular criteria starting now. Now let's go to tools, high-low ticker again. So I have a second high-low ticker. All right, and my second high-low ticker filters out for more volume. So if we look at it, there's 3,000 shares on each major index and same price range, right? Same price range. So let's come back here, settings. And once again, OTC, we'll leave at 1 because we don't really care to find stocks in the OTC market, right? So we'll put this at 1. Same price range again, 35 bucks. 35. Minimum price, $1. So whatever your price range is, if you don't like stocks between $1 and $3, you put this up to 4, right? So it'll only show you stocks above $4 that are hitting these criteria. And minimum volume, my understanding as to how this works has to do with relative volume. Volume today relative to volume yesterday. So 3,000, right? 3,000 shares of volume pushing up today versus yesterday. Now, a lot of you might think these scans, this particular scanner here might not be good, but I'll show you guys. I'll pull over here for my actual screen. These are some of the stocks that we're hitting today. GLGN, GTech, right? GTech we're familiar with. LGVN, which is one of our big stocks today. Now you're gonna get a lot of stocks that are not worth it, but for me over time, I without even really looking, because every day I have a watch list already and have a good idea as to which stocks might go. The stocks that are just, let's say, the noise isn't necessarily bothersome, right? Because just from looking at it, I most of the time know. There's only a few select situations where I really have issues where I didn't click on something that I should have clicked on already. But besides this is not our only scan, right? There's a lot more things that we do use when it comes to a watch list and all that we'll get into. But this is a start to what my left hand monitor looks like. So one of the last things is an order entry window. Tools, order entry. Once again, let's make sure to link everything up, right? Let's link everything. Link to. Although the high-low ticker doesn't necessarily need to be on a link, but we'll just put it on link 2 just because. So we'll throw this on here. Order entry window. Once again, the level 2 comes with its own order entry window, right? If we hit right here. So you can have this similar thing up there, but it all depends. For me, once again, this is how I kind of like it, right? This is how I kind of like it. So let's pull this down a little bit more here. Let's pull down the time and sales window a little bit more so we have some more space. Positions window will pull down. There we go. Let's pull this down so we can have all of our buttons showing. There we go. So our order entry window will help us out when it comes to taking trades, right? Once again, let's go on link 2. Let's type in Facebook. All right. Well, you know what? This for some weird reason, whenever you type it in the order entry window, it doesn't pull up. But Facebook, there we go. So once you type it in on the chart or level 2, it'll pull up everywhere else. So we just pulled up Facebook there. So if we wanted to take a trade on Facebook, it'll pull up the current price. So right now we're at 341.01. And if I want to take 1,000 shares, it'll do that math for me. If I want to take 1,000 shares of Facebook, that'll cost me $341,000. So let's say I wanted to take 100 shares of Facebook, right? That's 34,000, much more doable. We can have this window here, which is price type, right? We can do, and it should have said order type, to be honest. Order type, limit, market on close, stop on quote, right? Stop limit on quote, hidden stop, and trailing stop via a percentage. So each broker will offer different type of things in the orders as to what you want to do, and how you want to trade. Destination, they're going to give you two types of destinations, which is going to be ARCA and then the New York Stock Exchange. You can leave it on auto, right? Which is what I usually do for E-Trade. But E-Trade, as we know, isn't necessarily that good for executions, right? If you are using it, you do want to monitor the executions, make sure you're getting good fills. So this momentum bar right here, okay, there we go. So right clicking, you can select and deselect some of these different tools. So let's go back to LGVN here, right? LGVN, this one has more volume. Let's select the depth graph, right? This will show you this bit of a big, for me, this is kind of not necessary, right? Which is why I don't use this kind of thing. The depth summary, it starts to look a little too much, So for me, I like to take all this stuff off. Take all this stuff off, right? Right click. So once again, if you right click, you'll see momentum bar. You can get rid of all of that. Keep it a little bit more clean, a little bit more simple. And so yeah. So this space right here is a little bit bigger on my left-hand monitor. And I guess I could just pull this over, make it a little bit tighter, right? I can pull over both of them. So if you want to squeeze something else in here, you can, realistically, this is all the space we really need. I think that's pretty good, all right? And so we could slide this over. We can slide this over like that, and then we can pull something else in that space if we wanted to. So for me, what I did, I had a different daily chart. I had a different daily chart with a different link, right? But you can put a different 5-minute chart if you want to look at something else on the 5-minute. But with such a small chart, you got to ask yourself, is it going to make sense fitting something that small in this area, right? If you throw it something like that. So what you maybe what you could do, you probably want to do a third, and we'll do that for now. You can do a third high-low ticker that filters out for even more volume, right? So let's hit duplicate, and which is a good thing on a lot of the tools here at E-Trade. You can duplicate that tool by hitting by right-clicking. You'll see that option, right? After this, we're going to come back to our daily chart, and we're going to move on to the next column, to the next screen. So settings, let's see, let's filter for, let's say, all symbols. All symbols, this is a weird description right here, all symbols. Anyhow, this particular number doesn't seem to affect, and I might not be sure what it represents, but it doesn't affect the scanners to my knowledge, right? But let's say all symbols now. Let's go to 10,000 shares of volume. We're not interested in anything on this scan unless it hits above 10,000 shares relative volume, right? So we're filtering for high volume stocks now. There we go. And OTC, I mean, we can put this at 1 million shares because we don't care about seeing anything OTC, to be honest, right? So, at all times when I'm trading, as we're seeing, and let's take a look at QLGN, right? Let's take a look at QLGN as it's hitting the scans right now, after hours, right? QLGN. Let's go over to screen number 1, QLGN, just to see how this stock is looking. And let's take a look. This looks like a stock that we could trade right now, right? If I wanted to, I can pull up my Thinkorswim and take some trades on this. So it goes to show the scanner is working for stocks that are high volume. This stock right now has 19 million shares of volume coming into the close, right? So QLGN, right? Not to get too off topic, but just to show a quick example here, we're seeing it hitting on all three filters, which is good, right? So our level 2 is looking okay. QLGN pushing up at 42, 43. The right hand side of the level 2 at E-Trade in after hours and pre-market will show majority of the trades as red orders. I'm not sure why, but that's just how it is. So for the daily chart, there's something that we did forget, which was a study. Let's include a moving average, right? So whatever moving averages you guys might like or might want, there's a ton of them. You know, the list goes on and on, right? I mean, the list is too long to really, and this stock is pushing at 77. It's really moving. So moving averages, for me, I want a 200 moving average. Field will keep us closed. Type simple. Well, actually, no, not simple. Exponential. 200 exponential moving average. No offset. Let's put this in pink. Done. Let me make sure this matches up with my moving averages on Thinkorswim. QLGN. QLGN. And look at this LGVN, right? Hitting 39. I wonder if QLGN is going to be like a class B of this stock or something. So our 200 EMA is going to be at 212. Ignore Thinkorswim's chart right here. It doesn't update properly pre-market after hours. So about 212. And let's see, E-Trade's 200 EMA right here is about 211. So that's accurate. So once again, those criterias, right? If we click on it, edit study, right? So if you right click, you can delete or edit the study. We got period, 200, field, close field, and there's options for open, high, and low. So whatever you guys have your preference to for your style, that's the kind of a thing you can click on and add, right? So exponential, offset of 0, and no underlay, and so there we go. So this is my very first screen on E-Trade Pro, and so, you know, once again, going back to the beginning of the video, right, because I will include it. You guys will see 3 monitors on my left hand monitor. This is basically what I'm seeing at all times, right? My level 2 is always up, despite if it's showing on the stream or not. It is always up and ready. I can always keep my eye on the daily chart, and so I can zoom out on the daily chart, go back and say, hey, you know what? We might see some resistance as we're filling this gap, despite breaking the 200 EMA. We might see some resistance coming into this bit of a double bottom as it broke down and had lows of, what's that, 258 or so. You know, we did hit 278, so are we going to continue going above that level? We've pulled back below 258, so what is it going to be? I can help make some analysis off of this daily chart, go back some more, and see that it's showing that this price of this stock is 1300 at IPO, but we know that that's not true. This is just reverse splits. One thing with E-Trade Pro, and I'm not sure if I can include that on the charting, is the areas where we had reverse splits or stock splits, earnings, that kind of a thing. You don't want your charting to be too crowded or none of that, but I would love to see areas where we had reverse splits, and so you know that the price was not, you know, that high. It was adjusted for a good reason. So compare. I'm pretty sure you can compare. Is it today versus yesterday? Is how that works, or is it moving averages? I can't quite remember, but there's a compare tab here. Studies, once again, Bollinger Bands. I mean, this is a bunch of crazy stuff. RSI, you know, pivot points, whatever the case is that you guys might like, you want to customize it to that. And then there's a drawing tool, right? There's drawing tools. So let's maximize our daily chart, and you can do that for any indicator, right? You can maximize your you can maximize and minimize any tool. So let's go to the daily chart. The drawing tool I like. You can come up here. There's different things you can do, you know, such as channels, right? There's channels. You can create channels. Let's say from here down to here. There's different things you can look at. You can color code this stuff to whatever color you like to use. That's what you can do, right? All right, let's put it here. Let's put one there. So, you know, there's a lot of customizations when it comes to stuff. There's the doodle, which I usually use to explain different strategies that I'm looking at. hey, can we see an A, B, C, D setup, or maybe a bull flag setup, right? Maybe a bull flag setup. So you can draw on the charting. You can even leave notes on the charting, which is pretty good, right? So let's go back. Oh, I changed my thing there. Let's go back to 1 year today. And so this is going to be my very first screen, the left-hand side. So whenever you guys are seeing me doing the morning show, I'm usually pulling over one of these charts, especially the daily chart, right? Pulling over the daily chart onto my main monitor so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Now let's take a quick look at the time and sales and talk about something. The time and sales, like every other tool, can be color coded. So if we right click the time and sales and hit display, we'll see that there's a quote price, there's a trade between the bid and the ask, a trade above or below the bid. And for me, I really like having the trade price for the bid and the ask to be gray. So I'm going to click on this, and you see this right here. This is the color spectrum that I believe the charting does not have. This can give you any gradient of color. And so I like blue for that particular area, right? A bit of a light blue. So you can come like right here and hit OK. Hit OK. So trades that are in between the bid and the ask, right? Let's say market orders can be blue, and then I like having the quote price. The quote price, if I'm not mistaken, prints out orders that are sitting, outstanding, that are not filled. So it'll show you some of those orders there that are kind of just sitting around. I like to put this as a gray, a bit of a darker gray. Now, if you guys want it exactly how I have it, that's more of a white. If you guys want the exact colors that I use, I mean, we can go as far to do that, right? And so you'll have it come. I mean, and it doesn't quite is a bit of a darker color compared to my actual time and sales. What we can do is duplicate the real one, and I can give you guys the exact colorways that I use. So let's hit duplicate tool. Let's pull it over here. And so if you want these exact criteria, we can exit this one out. Let's put it in this place. All right. If you want the exact criteria, let's fit it in the correct spot. All right. Let's pull that down. And of course, for whatever you want to make bigger or smaller, that's up to you guys. Let's go to display. So you guys can copy these exact, colorways, that kind of a thing. The red and green is standard. I didn't change those two, but for blue, you have hue at 196, 100 saturation, 100 value, and transparency at 0, right? And quote, we have hue at 52, saturation at 4, and 66. Whatever color you guys might like. I mean, some people might want to know these exact things, which is why I'm doing this, because a lot of you are kind of looking forward to having the same exact kind of a layout that I'm using. But this is my very first screen. So when it comes to time and sales level 2, we'll have a separate video on that. This is going to be video number 1 for E-Trade. We're clocking in now at 42 minutes. So this is my exact layout for my first screen, my first monitor at E-Trade. So in video number 2, we'll talk about my primary screen, which you guys can see is pretty simple, right? It's a 5-minute chart, a 1-minute chart. I have this market movers list, right? A bit of a scanner that's provided from E-Trade, and order status. This also shows executions. Right, so I have 2 different ways to see executions. One through the positions window right here. If I click over to trade history, gainers and losers, that kind of a thing, and also order status window. This order status window is good because it lets you know if your trade. Let's say I put out a limit order, it'll show me that the trade is live, and it's gonna wait to hit the levels before I get filled. It'll show me if the trade was canceled, partial fill, all of that stuff. This is good for. So we'll talk about the second screen in part 2 of this video. So 1 down, 2 more to go, right? We're going to keep it nice and detailed. We'll have videos talking about specific tools. Once again, we'll talk about the level 2 updated video, time and sales, and we'll talk about Thinkorswim in a different set of videos, right? Going over TOS and the scanners that this one offers, some of the tools that I have when it comes to scans and that kind of a thing, right? There's always so much going on with trading. You know, it's good to keep up with everything and be very, very in tune with your broker to know what you're doing and feel pretty competent, feel pretty comfortable, right? I think comfortable is the right word. They're comfortable. You want to be competent, and you also want to be comfortable, right? But comfortable above all else. So that's going to be video number 1 for E-Trade. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you did enjoy, and I will catch you guys in the next one. It's been Relentless Trader. If you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe to the channel, or consider subscribing if you're a new viewer. Hit that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you guys in part 2. Peace.